There's a couple sitting at their kitchen table late at night, two incomes, two calendars packed with work, a decent apartment, a normal life, and they're whispering, not because they're ashamed, because they don't want the kids to hear. We should be ahead by now. Not rich, just ahead. They're not reckless, they don't gamble, they don't blow money on designer stuff. They do what modern adults do. They optimize, they split payments. A couch, 4 payments, a phone, 12 payments, a trip to see family, 6 payments, school supplies. Pay later, even groceries. Pay in 4. Everything feels controlled. Everything feels responsible. And yet, month after month, something keeps happening. Their paycheck lands and it's already gone. Not to one big mistake, to 20 tiny decisions that looked harmless in isolation. My name is Woof, and here's the question that hits like cold water. If buy now, pay later makes everything more affordable, why does it make life feel more fragile? It's designed to never feel like debt. No scary interest rate in your face, no bank office, no long paperwork. Just a soft, friendly button. Split it. 0 interest. Easy. But this scam doesn't reduce the cost. It reduces the pain signal that keeps your spending honest. It separates pleasure from consequence. You get the dopamine today, you get the tightening later. And once spending becomes painless, the question changes. You stop asking, do I need this? You start asking, can I handle the payment? Those two questions create two completely different lives. And this trap ensures you live in the second one. It doesn't need interest to be dangerous, it just needs you to stack commitments until your future becomes a cage. U.S. household debt hit $18.59 trillion, a new record. That number matters not because you personally caused it, but because it describes the water you're swimming in. Credit card balances alone is $1.23 trillion. That's the environment where BNPL is growing inside. Not in a world where people have margin. In a world where households are already running hot, one surprise away from instability. So when it says this is easier, it really means this is easier to start, not easier to live with. In 1970, the average household had fewer options but stronger boundaries. If you didn't have the money, you waited. There was friction. You had to save. You had to feel the price. You had to delay the reward. Debt existed, but it was heavier, psychologically and practically. Spending required effort. That effort acted like a guardrail. Today, friction has been engineered out of consumption. You can buy a $600 purchase in 15 seconds while standing in line for coffee. And the system doesn't just remove friction. It replaces friction with a story. You're not spending, you're managing. That story is powerful because it turns debt into identity. Not, I borrowed money, but I'm the kind of person who's financially savvy. Let's do the math that the system never forces you to look at, because the math is where the spell breaks. The system is not dangerous because of one purchase. It's dangerous because of overlap. You have 10 plans, averaging $90 per month each. That's $900 per month committed. But none of those decisions felt like $900. They felt like $22 today, $45 next week. It's basically nothing. Now add real life. Rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, food, childcare, transportation. The problem isn't that $900 exists. The problem is it steals something you don't see on a bank statement, your ability to breathe. Because once you stack enough fixed commitments, your life gets rigid. Your paycheck stops being income. It becomes a delivery truck. It arrives and immediately gets unloaded into other people's boxes. And here's the scariest part. These commitments are scattered across apps and merchants, so you don't feel the total weight until the due dates collide. So what happens when life changes? Because this trap isn't tested in normal months. It's tested in abnormal ones. This is where people turn the blame inward. I'm just bad with money. I need discipline. I should be more responsible. But the problem isn't a lack of morality, it's cognitive load. Modern households manage multiple subscription stacks, multiple payment plans, variable prices, rising costs, and constant marketing pressure, all while staying calm, present, and adult. This system exploits the fact that your brain is tired. It doesn't force a hard decision. It offers a soft one. And soft decisions don't feel like decisions at all. They feel like relief. So you take the relief, and then you pay for it later with anxiety. That couple at the kitchen table doesn't feel trapped by one purchase. They feel trapped by the accumulation of invisible promises. A lot of people aren't broke, they're boxed in. This modern trap doesn't just grow by adding new users. It grows by increasing usage among existing users, meaning the behavior intensifies over time. I only use it sometimes is exactly what the system wants. Because sometimes becomes often, and often is profitable. It doesn't just change your money, it changes your psychology. It teaches you a dangerous way to relate to life. Future me will handle it, and future you usually can handle it until future you can't. Because future you has layoffs, sick kids, car repairs, stress, unexpected travel, opportunity costs you can't predict. It quietly sells your future income before your future even arrives. And when enough of your future is already sold, you become the kind of adult who can't pivot. You can't take a risk. You can't change jobs easily. You can't absorb a bad month without panic. That's the real cost, not dollars. Flexibility. It normalizes a life where you treat consumption as comfort, comfort as identity, and identity as something you finance. It's not financial management, it's financial sedation. Okay, Woof, but we need that new car. What should we supposed to do? It's easy. Before you click on that button, ask one question. Does this purchase increase my options or reduce them? That's it. If it reduces your options, it's not affordable. Affordability is not a monthly payment. Affordability is how much room you still have after life hits you. If a purchase makes you less resilient, it's not a purchase. It's a trade. You're trading future peace for present relief. And relief is expensive when you finance it. Even if you stop today, the real problem remains. Your money has been turned into fixed commitments. We need margin back. No complicated budgeting system. Just a rule. You need margin or you're not safe. And margin means there is money that isn't already promised. Count your fixed promises. Rent, insurance, childcare, minimums, subscriptions, memberships. Pick one promise to delete. Not forever. Just reduce the number of things that have a claim on your next paycheck. Move that freed cash into a buffer, not an investment plan. Not a complicated strategy. Just a buffer. Because buffers change behavior. When you have a buffer, you don't need to follow the system rules as emotional oxygen. You can say, not today, without feeling like your life is collapsing. That's the goal, not deprivation. Control. The buy now, pay later scam is marketed like a clever tool. But for millions, it becomes a lifestyle. A lifestyle where you buy comfort in pieces, you owe money in fragments, you feel fine until you suddenly don't. And by the time you feel it, the commitments are already stacked. The scam isn't that it exists. The scam is the story it sells. That freedom comes from smaller payments. It doesn't. Freedom comes from owning your next month, from having money that hasn't already been assigned to yesterday's cravings. Because the best feeling in personal finance isn't buying something. It's waking up and realizing nothing is chasing you.